3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Lady on the Street podcast. I'm your host, Priscilla, and I am so excited to be back in this room. It's a new look. We're so excited about it still. But today's guest is someone who has manifested her way out of a rut by pouring her heart into her business and putting in the work. She's taken a tried and true business model and kicked it up a notch. She's modernized it, if you will. And it makes perfect sense because literally, who doesn't love a taco? I've run into her taco stand on 2 unexpected occasions, and after finally getting to try them out, I have to say, you're doing amazing, sweetie. Zerena with Taco Couture, thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love your space.
Thank
I
you.
don't know what it looked like before, but it looks kind of nice.
Thank you. Okay, and I think I just butchered your name. You said Zerena.
Zerena. Yeah.
Zerena. My bad.
Yeah, the Z is silent, but it's okay.
Yes,
I've
Zerena.
heard it all.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Zerena. Girl, get it together. Okay, so we're continuing with our pod tradition, and as always, I always ask what we're drinking. Tonight, it's a little bit of
lemon water.
Detox
water.
Yeah, so I asked her, what is it that you drink? And she's like, throwing a curveball. She's like, I don't.
Never have.
I actually really love that for you.
Yeah, never drank, never smoked. I think it was my first communion. I had to go up and drink the red wine. And I was like, oh, I think we're 11 at that time when you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And I guess I took a big gulp and it's real. It's not the grape juice.
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, like, why do adults do this to themselves? So that was like my first alcohol experience, but I was like, never again. And then of course, like the influence and kind of what it's done to my family members. And it's just like, I never want to be put in a position where I'm unconscious or I can't control. Like, people that know me, which is very rare because I don't let a lot of people that in that side of me. It's just like I'm very strong-minded. I'm very like I don't like to take advantage of. Like I just don't want to be under any influence. Like I want to be clear.
I love that. And you know what? I think that that's like really bold, very hard to do in this day and age, honestly, because I'm sure that there's been like temptation or pressure or whatever, but the fact that you like or no.
Well, I feel like again, like I'm strong-minded. Once I made up my mind, I'm never going back. Like in I'm from the Valley, the 956, so which is it's a little bit more temptation, and that's basically the culture. You know? Like I think when I was in high school, they used to do bars and whippets and drinking, and I would go out, but it was like, come on, see, and even to this day, like you're gonna be the first one you drink with, and I'm like you could keep trying. It's just the more I said no, the more powerful I felt. So, and I was also involved into like basketball was my sport, so like just athletics, and I was just like nah, and it's just like it made me feel better to have that power.
So, you're like, you're not gonna break me.
So
don't even try.
No, but irritated with they're not gonna get it. But
I do love that for you. And again, I just personal experience, like it's been around me forever as well. And so I was never able to say no. I never had the desire to say no, I guess, but kudos to you for being able to do that. I love that. Okay, so let's talk tacos. Okay, let's talk about it. What is your favorite type of taco? We're just doing some icebreakers for a minute.
So if people do or don't know, I know a lot of people's like, hey, I'm gonna watch your podcast, and I'm like, oh my god, like I feel like, and I don't want to say like fans, but like they know, they listen to my podcast, and I'm like, no, don't. But if the people that don't know, I'm actually vegan.
I was gonna ask you about that because I'm like, how do you make these delicious tacos and you don't eat them?
So my favorite taco, I guess I would have to go with just like I make a crudité taco. It's all about the seasoning and the texture. I've also made, it's not on my menu, but just because being vegan, you have to be, creative. So I've made birria tacos out of Jamaica flowers.
Wow.
So you get the juice out of it, make yourself a Jamaica juice, and then you keep draining it till it runs clear. So that flour, you'll soak it in the consomme, and then you'll put a vegan cheese, and then you'll put that on there, and it's edible. So I made a birria taco with Jamaica. That wasn't bad at all. And I do have a vegan taco on the menu. It's Impossible Meat and Beyond Steak. So I mix the two. Impossible, I find that has more flavor. I know with women eating a lot of soy could be problematic,
Yeah.
but to be able to provide and give that same texture with the Beyond Meat, that one fries up better. So
Mm-hmm.
I know we did an event at St. Mary's, and all we had left was vegan tacos because they pre-ordered their package, and they said, "Yeah, let's have some vegan ones."
Yeah.
Everything went out super fast, and then the last ones I have vegan, and there's still a long line, and I was like, "This is all I have," and they're like, "We'll try it." They're like, "Are you sure this is vegan?" And I'm like, "No, it's vegan." It's like, "It tastes like pork," and I'm like, "No, it's vegan. It's all about seasoning. It's all about how you cook it, the texture, all of that."
Yeah.
So that's a good taco too. So
That's amazing though. I don't think I've ever heard of like a vegan. Is it still street taco? I suppose. Basically, like it's
in 2024, sure.
well, yes. Well,
But
but
if
you
you go
said
back to,
it's like BDF esque,
yeah,
the
the
vegan one.
Jamaica one.
Oh, the Jamaica
The
one is
Jamaica
BDF
one.
esque.
Yeah, it's not on my menu, but I have had it
Yeah,
and
yeah,
tried it, and it was really good. Yeah, but let me see. In Mexico, there would be a nopal taco. Like
yeah,
that's a street one, like the
yeah.
charred nopal. But I guess when I was younger, I wasn't really a fan of it. But I'm kind of thinking about throwing a nopal taco on the menu because
That's amazing. I love that. I love what you're doing with all of that. But so the choice to be vegan, is that something that you also were dead set on, or have you weren't always?
no, no. So I mean, I'm from the valley, but raised in Reynosa, so right
Mm-hmm.
across the border. Just so used. We had 1.5 acres in the valley, and it's just we're so used to eating off the land. We had a little goat, we had chickens, we had like that's just how I was raised, and
Yeah.
so everything tasted different compared to moving to San Antonio when I turned 18. I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. I don't like that. Anybody that's RGV, like if you know, like you know. So
You're not the first person that's told me
girl,
that.
I need to get the fuck out of here because I'll end up turning into one of them. And I just knew I was different. Like
Yeah.
always in high school, like they would write in pencil, I would write in pen. They wrote in print, I wrote in cursive. Like I just knew I was different, not on purpose. It's just like I'm like, no, like I don't like to blend in at
Yeah.
all. That's just not who I am. But being in the valley in that mindset, like it's really easy to fall into
Yeah.
that. So came to San Antonio and small town girl, like the valley, like San Antonio was like mind blowing to me. Like what? There's malls and
Yeah.
this and different cultures, ethnicities, because the majority down there is, Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
So came out here, went to school, and sorry, what was the question? I'm sorry,
No, no,
I
no, you're good.
ramble.
It was just so you were saying growing up you would eat off the
Mm,
land. So
yeah,
when did you make that choice, I guess,
to
to
go
become
vegan.
yeah.
Yeah, so I came out here, came out here, went to taquerias that San Antonio calls taquerias,
Mm-hmm.
Mexican restaurants, and I'm like, this ain't no taqueria. Like, this is not Mexican food. It's very Tex-Mex even to this day. There's little
A
valley
little bit,
businesses
yeah.
coming out here and doing their thing, but I'm like, nah. So that was a disappointment to me
Mm-hmm.
and my palate. Also, I was a broke college student, so all I could afford is like brown rice, broccoli, and chicken. Met my husband. My husband was, hey, I'm going to join the military. I don't know if you want to keep talking. And I was like, let's see what happens. And he joined the Marine Corps, and he got stationed in Cali in the desert. So we were out there, and I'm like, we moved to the desert, and I was like, okay, this is different because there's no ocean for fish
Yeah.
nearby, and there's no land. Like it was just desert, like sand.
Yeah.
So I didn't see no cattle, no roosters, no grass, no nothing. So that was like, I'm just not used to that. Like going to the
Right.
store, you see it prepackaged and sealed, and I'm like, I'm not used to this. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go vegan, and it's not about like saving animals, not
Yeah.
PETA. It's
Mm-hmm.
about also like health, because I
Yeah.
saw documentaries with the health, how they put salt water in chicken to make it plump, how they
Mm-hmm.
put dyes in red meat to make it look pretty. It's all about consumer, right? So
Yeah.
you go there and you pick up the pack of meat and you're like, oh, this is a good size, but it's all filled. So,
Yeah.
and of course, a lot of people don't have the experience that I had, when I was younger. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go vegan for health purposes. And I did see a lot of notice and change, like bloating to water, like the salt in my body wasn't there anymore. I just felt lighter. I had more energy.
Yeah.
So I liked the way I was feeling. And then we got stationed in Maryland, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're going to Maryland. They're known for blue crab, and they were hyping up the seafood. And I was like, man, okay, I wanna try it. So we went to Maryland, and I broke my vegan, like 100% hardcore vegan, because like I
Yeah.
wouldn't even eat gummies, because I don't know if you know, like gummies has like horse hooves
Yes. Uh-huh.
for the gelatin, and I just broke it. I was like, all right, let's try this crab. And blue crab, like it's a lot of work. It's like sunflower seeds. It's a
It's like a
lot
lot
of
of work
work.
for a little
Little
bit of
piece of
payoff,
meat.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, but I already have broke it. So plus, we were really close to New York, and I don't know if anybody knows, but Chinese food will never taste the same for me. But Chinese food in the East Coast, especially New York,
Yeah.
that slaps. Like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like they know. I'm like, what? So we would get chicken wings and stuff, but I wasn't like, I broke it, but I would only do it on the weekends
Yeah.
or when we traveled. And my husband's Haitian, so in their culture, they're very meat eaters, like pork. They have this thing called griot, which is very similar to carnitas. They fry
Okay.
it the
Yeah.
same, they boil it the same, but it has a different flavor. But yeah, so came back to San Antonio in 2021, pregnant with baby girl, and we started our family, and then yeah, started this business.
Yeah.
I feel like I waited 8 years to have a kid, but in those 8 years, we were able to spoil ourselves. We did a bunch of fine dining,
Yeah.
so that's where, if you know my business or if you've seen this stuff on my page, it's grabbing what I experienced in fine dining. We paid a lot of money just for, honestly, what it is art. Like you're in
Yeah.
DC a lot, New York, Miami. His family's in Miami, Montreal. So we're really well traveled. So
Yeah.
I'm always looking at dope spots to go to, like the food, and I was always like recording, and you're paying all this money for little portions, and my husband's 6'4", so yeah, it was more me dragging him out.
Yeah.
But after like an hour or two, he's like, man, I'm hungry. And by the time he was like, man, I'm hungry, the only thing that was open was like street food, so pizza or tacos.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man. And I came back home, I was pregnant. I was like, what? Like, I had the idea, I just hadn't put the full concept. I'm like, how cool would it be to like have like luxury street food? Because we were paying luxury prices for art.
Yeah.
Never took anything home.
It's almost like you can't, right? Like
No, it's all about presentation. Even if you were to take it back, they'll probably look
they're
at
like,
you like,
seriously,
this is not like, yeah,
a to-go box.
yeah,
Never heard of
yeah.
it.
Yeah, she's like, you better eat that gold flake.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I wanted to combine the two. I wanted to be able to provide an experience to a very familiar food, Hispanics are used to. A lot of people don't know that I do go down to Mexico, buy my seasonings.
Yeah, I was watching some of your content, and I'm like, she's committed.
Yeah,
like
I want to give two full experience, right? I want to give the experience that I was raised on. I want people was like, why don't you get a truck? And I'm like, for what? Like, and people don't get it. Carritos is the hustle. It's my culture. It's my life. Like in Mexico, like they stop, they sell. All right, it slowed down. You pick up your cart, keep going down a couple blocks, make more money.
Yeah,
like that's how they put food on the table. And you never see carts, like
never.
I mean trucks. So yeah, trucks like
over there
Mexico,
you never see. Yeah.
It's all like cart mobile. Last time I went down, there was a guy with a wheelbarrow with oysters, and he had like the hot sauce, the lemon, and he was just pushing it. And I'm like, man, like that's my culture. Like I get why people want me to have a truck. I get they want me to be more accessible. I know I'm private catering, but no, I want to stick to my carrito life. It's part of my culture. I'm proud of it. The tacos, same thing. The flavor profile, like there's not. When I was eating meat when I came out here, I tried to eat some chicken tacos. I guess the chicken tacos that they serve out here is like boiled chicken breast, shredded, shredded, and they top it with like a sour cream and tomato. And I'm like, that's not a chicken taco. So I use a chicken thigh with a 24-hour marinade. It locks in a lot of the juice. It doesn't dry out, and then I fry it. I give it a nice little char on it,
Yeah.
so it doesn't feel mushy, doesn't feel dry. It's like a combination of both.
They are good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and I love that you specify, your carrito, the little cart,
Hmm.
because I remember the first time that I saw I said stand, but it's a cart. The first time I saw it was at it was outside the Chick-fil-A downtown on
Oh wow.
Houston.
Okay.
And so there was just a man there, and I was like, what is this pink carpet? What is this cart? Like the sign, the aesthetic of it all is just so pretty, and
Hmm.
like you're drawn to it honestly,
Yeah.
because that's like what it's all about these days, is like you got to have that like Instagram look as well.
So you were hustle socialize. Is
N-
that when you see me? Because the one at Chick-fil-A, that was hustle socialize, and then I just recently did their other one.
no, so this was probably last year sometime. The Chick-fil-A had just opened, and I think we went to go do a story on it, for like
Hmm.
my 9 to 5. And so we were covering the Chick-fil-A's opening, and there was somebody standing outside of it by the parking garage. And it was just so cute. I don't know what he was doing there, but he was selling the tacos, and he got me at the pink carpet. I was like, I got a card, and I was like, what's going on here? But the next time that I had seen you was recently at Taste of the Medical Center,
Okay, yeah.
and you won,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like when we had participated, I already knew like we were gonna win. But not, and that's not to boast. Like I will say with this business, I think when you saw me outside the Chick-fil-A, I was
Mhm.
only 1 month into business,
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah.
so I was very like when I started it, I wasn't. Although who I am, my personality is like confidence. Like I stay in my zone. I don't really mess with nobody else.
Yeah.
I just
Hmm.
stay focused. But I was very nervous. I was like, I don't know if people are gonna get it. I don't know if people are gonna like the experience. I don't like. It was just like battling myself mentally.
Yeah.
And then the Taste of Medical Center, I was like, I was trying to actually get into the Taste of Northside,
Yeah.
and they were like, yeah, we would love to have you, and I was like, cool, and I was filling it out, and then like 10 minutes later, they emailed me, it's like, I'm so sorry, we don't have anything open anymore, and I was like, man, I was like
Oh,
disappointed. I was like, you know what, it's
yeah.
okay. So then I saw the Taste of Medical Center kind of floating around. I was like, I wonder what this is, and I just saw. I was like, you know what, whatever. It's like promo,
Yeah.
handing out tasting. They're like edible business cards, right?
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'll do it. And then I know Natasha had just interviewed me, and she was part of their podcast, the All Access Media with Mike. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'll do it. Cool. Like, they look like good people, whatever. And then they told me there was like 11 businesses. I was like, okay. And I was like, I know what I got.
She's like, I got
And then when I
this.
was there and they were voting, and I was like, okay, like I wasn't asking for anybody's votes, but my husband and my husband's cousin was asking, votes. And
Yeah.
then, we would like hear people's feedback,
Yeah.
but we were also so busy. But they were
Yeah.
like, here's our ticket. And I was just like, man, like, and then when Mike told me, he's like, man, we didn't even have to count nothing. We just had to look in the box and we already knew it was y'all. Like, we didn't even count y'all's tickets. Like, we could
Yeah.
just tell. And I was just like, man, like, it just feels good, and that's a
Yeah.
little, progress. Yeah,
I
not
was like,
progress.
little wins will
Li-
add up to big wins, you
correct,
know?
correct. Yeah. So I was pretty proud of
Good.
that.
I'm so glad. I mean, my mom was with us, with my husband and I down there, and we just like love the tacos. But again, like I keep talking about the concept of it all, because it's so new here, and we
Yeah.
don't see any
Yeah.
carts. Like the only carts we have are what, paletas, that like the people
Well,
drive around, you know?
so when I reached out to the San Antonio Health Department,
Mm.
I was like, hey, this is my concept. Like I didn't know nothing. They're like, yeah, you just need to have your sink. Da da da. I was like, cool. Got all that custom made. I have a guy down in Mexico that custom makes my carts. Told him everything. All right, he built it. Came back, and I was like, all right, I'm ready. I called them. I was like, oh, what's the next step? And they're like, what are you trying to do? And it was like a different rep.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, so like street tacos. And he was like, I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to approve it. And I was like, what? Like, I just talked to a rep like a month ago, and I just invested in all this. And he was like, yeah, we're not going to approve it. The only thing that we approve is hot dog carts, because it's a less contamination. You just
Yeah.
get the bread, you get the weenie out of the water. I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, that's fine, because my vision for this, and I don't want to sound like I don't want to be too accessible. I want it to be more of like kind of like a speakeasy, right? Like the need to know, like taco
Yes.
couture, like private catering. I didn't really want to be like on the side of the street selling tacos, although I know that's part of the culture on the hustle, but like I want it to be more the other experience that I'm trying to give, right? More luxury, more
Right.
like,
Upscale. Like,
hey, yeah, like,
yeah.
hey, like y'all focus on hosting, you hired us, we do the cook, we cook on site, we never bring anything pre-made. A lot of people, ask me that, and I'm like, no, we don't bring pre-made stuff. We cook on site, so that's why we have to arrive earlier. We cut everything on site, to give the best fresh experience. um so I was like, okay, cool. And then he was like, honestly, I'm gonna tell you, like, you could get away with it, not get away, like you can do it with catering. Like we'd have no jurisdiction on catering. And I was like, okay, cool. He's like, as long as you're on private property. I was like, well, this sounds about what I was
What you
looking at.
wanted.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's where I, we'll say private catering. And some businesses and get it, some businesses don't. Like, hey, in the beginning they were like, now I do qualify for like permits if I want to, sell, to see if it'll be fine or whatnot. Like
Yeah.
you get like 4 a year, and that's just more to see if your business will do. But there's been businesses that like, hey, we're doing a grand opening, do you want to come set up, da, da, da. And I'm like, we don't really do that. Like we just do
Yeah.
catering
Yeah.
packages. And I know this one time, it's like, hey, it's $100 for you to set up, and then they also take profit from your income, from whatever you make.
Yeah.
And at that, I was comfortable enough at that time. This is not that long ago, and I was like, I spent $1,200 just so they could look up Taco Couture for infringement, for me to like have it, own it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And I spent another $1,200 to file it.
Yeah.
So I spent $2,400 on, and this is from like something else that kind of happened with my business. But I'm like, $2,400. Okay, now I can walk around here and be like, no, I charge $150 for you for a pop up fee. So if you want me
Right.
on your property,
Yeah.
because you're holding an event, like some small, and I feel bad because businesses were like, okay, I'll pay the 35, okay, I'll pay the 100 so I can have my table and make. Yeah, and I'm like, hold on, no, I'm charging you because you're gonna use my logo, my name that I pay for,
Right.
my pictures that I work really hard on, my content to promote your event.
And you want me to pay you to also be part of it? Like, no.
No,
Yeah.
and a lot of businesses hit me up like 75, 100, like it, and I was like, hey, I charge 150. It was like, oh, it doesn't work like that. We also charge this. And I'm like, okay, just not your person. Like,
Right.
I'm not about to, I'm not going to say make my business look cheap, but I'm not about to go through no, like, respect me, basically. Like,
Right.
I spent a lot of money to own my name on something that I came up with, but it is what it is.
Uh,
And I mean, I hope they don't take advantage of other, small business, because that kind of sucks. Like, we're all trying to eat. So,
yes.
you know?
Well, again, I think that goes back to what you were talking about. Like, you just being the type of person to make up your mind and you're like, no, I won't accept anything less. Like, that's how you're going to succeed in this business, I
Yeah.
would say.
Well, in the beginning, we were like, yeah, we'll go do it, and I'll take out the permit, and we'll sell on site. But and it's also speaking from experience. It's like, hey, we're expecting 200 people. I'm like, all right, let me prep for like 75, and I'll multiply 75 plates times whatever the price would be per plate. And I'm like, all right, I'm
Hmm.
happy with this income. And I remember that day I only sold 25 plates. So all that extra, and because my business and my brand is fresh, authentic, all of that, I had to throw all that meat away. And they're
Yeah.
like, you can freeze it. And I'm like, so I'm gonna freeze marinated meat
Yeah.
for a paying client? Like,
No.
no, I'm not. They may never know. They may never taste it, but I know.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not about, like, I'm losing more than I'm making.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another part of the experience, is like, I have to pay, or I even if it's businesses like, hey, just come out. Okay, cool, but I still have to rent a U-Haul. I'm a small business. I don't have a delivery vehicle. I still have labor that I gotta cop. Like, my business is labor. The overhead
Yeah.
cost, like, Mexican food, food from the land, like making that salsas from jalapeno, garlic. Yeah, that's cheap, but it's the labor. You get our customer service, you get our professionalism, you get our prep, you get us driving to Mexico. We put a lot of time into
I was gonna
this.
say you're paying for trips to go get your stuff from Mexico.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I know I got asked like, do you put that in your invoices? I was like, no, like I don't even know how. Like I'm not
Yeah.
there yet. I try to make it as readable and as easy for the client to understand and get.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, it's a whole experience for sure. I did want to touch on two things that you brought up. So you mentioned you came to San Antonio. I guess what year was that? And then did you go to culinary school here? When you said you went to school, what school? No, you're good.
I came out here in 2012.
Okay.
Came out here in 2012, and thank you for thinking I went to culinary school. We've gotten a lot of compliments. If she's like, "Yeah, part of the CIA," and my Mexican ass is like, "This isn't a sting, man." Like, and she thought like I thought like she meant the CIA. I didn't know it was the Culinary Institute of America, and I also didn't know that San Antonio has a really good culinary school.
Well, yeah, that's why I was like,
And
is
I'm
that
like, no, like I'm just a fucking broke ass Latina. Like I'm like Mexicana. Like what's a CIA? No, like don't say CIA. Don't say FBI. Don't say that in our household because we will hide. Like we're from the valley. No, we're not Caucasian.
That's hilarious.
But I didn't know. But we get a lot of compliments. You know, saying like, "Y'all are a chef. You're a chef," and I'm like, "No, like I just."
Well, you come off like that, like because it's so legit, you know, like you're so professional. You've got, I don't know if it's like fake it till you make it, but you've made it, honey. Like,
no, I appreciate it. I know a lot of the cooking skills, and I say it to this day, like it comes from, and I've kind of highlighted it on my Instagram. It comes from my abuela,
yes,
my dad, and my mom. They've taught me 3 different types of cooking styles. My parents separated when I was really young, but my dad is the one that taught me the grill. So when people are like, "How do you know?" It's like he taught me the marinades. He taught me color, texture, what I'm looking for when meat is cooking, what I'm looking for it to marinate. He taught me the meat. My abuela, she had like 8 kids, big family, so she taught me more like family, love, patience. Like she would cook bigger meals like pozole, like it's cheaper to feed.
Yeah.
On like carne guisada, like tortillas and stuff like that. And then my mom taught me like she's fast, flavorful, like it hits your palate and you'll remember that. Like I don't think I can find anybody that makes a good fideo. And fideo is like a broke folk like when we struggle.
Fideo hits though.
But her fideo, like I can't find a good fideo. Like they'll invite us over. It's like, "Mama, all right, I'll try it." I'm like,
you're like,
this ain't it.
I can't
like they
even
use
nail
a lot of
fideo.
packet stuff. We don't use packet.
Yeah.
Or like it's like you use packet, like you're not Mexican.
You're already like
No,
devaluing
you
it.
fucked it up. Like it ain't.
I can't ever get like my fideo to have the right liquid consistency.
Yeah.
Because it's very tricky. Like if you put too much, it soaks it up and it
turns into like a little pasta.
I'm like this. What is this, spaghetti? Like no. So I can never get it the way my mom makes it. You know.
No.
And even the way my mom makes it, you'd probably be like, "This is trash."
No, I like the watery ones.
Yes, I love a water.
I end up putting limon and
you add to it. Yeah,
and like a tortilla rolled up.
Yes.
But no, those were my if you say instructors. But I feel like again, I've never been to culinary school. I kind of talk to people, but I feel like they don't teach you that. I feel like you're paying a certain amount and they're trying to push you, they're trying to teach you so much, like it's so fast paced and you have to grab it and then go. But they don't teach you the way like I just described. Like I had one-on-one with my abuela. Like my mom's the type of person like don't ask no questions, you just stay there, get out of her way, whatever. My grandma's more patient, and I remember when I was younger, and I've always been a tomboy.
That's surprising though.
I'm still a big tomboy, but like but I like to dress up and all that. But before I was like a huge tomboy. I wanted to be outside with my brothers because it was mainly boys. Even with my cousins, my grandma has like 5 granddaughters and like 20 some grandsons. But I was like, I want to be outside. And she's like, and we would go in the summer. She said, "No, come here. I'm gonna teach you how to make rice." And I'm like, "I don't want to learn rice." She's like, "No, come here." And I'm like, "I don't want to." And I was just, I will admit that I had like a mouth. I would back talk a lot. And I remember her making it, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna make it, but I'm gonna burn it on purpose so she could be like, this ain't the right one. Like maybe this is not the one, Lord Jesus, right? So I burn it, she'll toss it, and we'll redo it. And I'm like, man, this lady's not gonna give up on me. Like, she just would not. I don't want to say the words "leave me alone." She just would not give up on me.
Right.
And she's very, Catholic oriented. Has the keys to the church, all of that. Maybe she knew something that I didn't. Maybe the Lord knew something that I didn't. But like, she never gave up on me, and I hated it. And I'm like, I'm never gonna be that type of woman to be in the kitchen. Like, I'm never gonna have a man provide for me like that. Like, we're both gonna be equal. Like, and even to this day, like, me and my husband, I kind of told him how I stand on gender roles, and he was like, like, he accepted it. Like, he was not like no macho, like, you stay in the kitchen. Like, he was, say, hey, I want to work, that's fine. He doesn't like cutting. He's a pretty boy, so like, he doesn't like cutting grass, and I love cutting grass because like, it's just so nostalgic to me. Like, being on the rancho, like being outside with my grandpa and my dad, and my grandpa's not here anymore, but like, just reminds me of like, I don't know, like, I don't know. I was like, just leave my grass alone, I'll cut it. And then
I love it. She's like, that's my
job. And then I was like, just go inside, like, wash dishes or fold clothes. But we never like threw that at each other's face. Like, we just kind of understood that.
I love that.
So, but cooking, I was like, man, I hated it. I hated the whole whatever. And then I'm like, look at me now. I was like, I just took it and turned it into a whole uh aesthetic thing. And I feel like San Antonio, and I know a lot of people hear this, and I know San Antonio is trying to grow, is always 10 steps behind on trends like music, food, all of that. And because I have had the privilege of traveling and trying new foods and restaurants and just seeing like, oh my god, like Vegas and things, like, I know I know people from the Valley, and I know people from San Antonio. I know people from Texas. We don't leave. We don't go.
No.
Like, the first time I ever got on my plane, on a first plane, was when I was 21 to go see my husband graduate at boot camp. In San Diego. Like, and a lot of Texans like to drive. I mean, it's cheaper. You pack it up.
Well, because it takes so damn long to get out of Texas. Like, it's
They don't
8
really
hours up, 8 hours. So
they don't really like to fly or whatnot, whatever.
But must be a cultural thing too, right?
But I was like, man, I'm gonna grab my experiences and provide it to a lot of people here in the community, and I want to be able to provide it to them on things that I've experienced, and that's where the iPop. And I was going to school for interior design, so I've always been like artistic. My stuff would be get entered. I'm a procrastinator, but I would like work on stuff super late. I would like 2 hours, stayed up late, and I'll turn it in. They're like, oh my god, like, we would love to submit it to an art gallery. And I'm like, you could have it. Like, I didn't have
you're like, just don't give it to the CIA.
I didn't fall in love with my pieces of work because it was rushed. But they didn't see that. They saw it as like, oh my god, and we love it. And I'm like, you can have it. I don't really care. But now I regret it because I want to be able to have archives and whatnot. But like, my way to express artistically is, the pink carpet, the pink flower wall, the little like
the pink freaking tortilla,
like the heart. We have heart-shaped quesadillas too. So it's just, that's the artistic. And then the food, the flavor, the profile. People are like, oh, we tried it because it was pink, we didn't know it was good too. And I'm like, well, yeah. But like, I understand there's businesses out there like are selling food and making a profit off of cute things, and the food isn't good. I can say that because even in DC or LA or whatever, I've gone because the spot on Instagram looks dope and I want to take pictures. But I'm like, what the fuck is this?
And then you get there and it has like underwhelming.
Two spices on it. Like, where is the spices? But I mean, you pay for the vibe, I guess.
Yeah. Well, and then I also think, like, you're mentioning the traveling and stuff. When you talk about, or when anybody talks about like a taco, right? A taco from the Valley to San Antonio to California are 3 totally different things, right?
Yeah, California. If you're from Cali and you listen to this, California Mexican food is not great. I do not. They like put cucumber and radishes on everything.
Yeah. What the fuck? But they'll swear that theirs is better than what's over here too.
I actually had a compliment we did a hustle socialize at the Frost Tower.
Oh, it was recent, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I actually she came on for a podcast.
Yeah, and
Christina.
there she had a guest. I think she was a speaker, and they had flown her in, or she came in from Cali, and she DM'd me, and she's like, "Hey, these were some really good tacos." That's because I'm from California, and like I can't find like no good tacos. I'm like, girl, and I was just like, and I'm not even gonna say nothing.
Yeah,
y'all don't even know about the valley. Y'all don't even know about like down there.
Yeah,
it's I don't know.
I have a friend who her husband's from the valley. She's from Miami, but they go to the valley all the time. And she swears by the food down there as well. So I'm like, I gotta make a trip. I know y'all are trying to get out of the valley, but like I gotta go down there just to see what it's about.
I mean, I'll go back for this. The only reason why I like and I will go back is just food. Just food. Like it's I don't even know how to explain it. Like,
Yeah.
And that's what I want to provide here. Like my mom's like, if you're gonna do this, like serve them well, sirverlos bien, like give them like portions, make them, and that's how it is. You go down there, rinky dink taqueria, but they start you off with charro beans, and then they give you your 5 taquitos, and then they comes with a papa. You're like, dang, I'm full, and all this is like $7.
Yeah.
But it's small, but like boom, 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 like, and that's what my business is like, yes, it's small, it's cute, but you're not gonna leave hungry. It's comfort. It's not like, damn, I ate too much or I didn't eat enough. Like it's just fine. And I always talk to my clients and like, how many people are you having? And I tell them usually women like to start with 2 tacos and come back for another 2. Men like to start with 3 or 4 and come back for another 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it goes because they are 3-inch mini tacos, but we are not stingy with meat. So.
Yeah. Well, and I did find it very interesting because going back to like your health conscious, your tortillas are dyed with beet juice
beet
or
extract.
like beet extract.
Yeah. So our tortilla vendor, they get theirs from Mexico. They're from the valley as well.
Yeah.
So they go down to Mexico and buy their beet extract.
Yeah, just like the thoughtfulness that you've put into literally like every aspect of this, it's a 10 out of 10, chef's kiss. So like,
well, I tell a lot of people like, yeah, the meat is one thing, but a really good taco is going to be on the tortilla. So like there's businesses out here, and I've had tacos when I first moved out here. Like they give you like mission tortillas.
Oh, it'll ruin the entire taco.
I'm like, what are y'all doing? Like, where's the corn? I don't see the black specks. I don't taste the maize. Like,
yes.
And maize is such a cultural thing. Like it's just like that's home. Like I remember in Reynosa, we were small and we would go pay a bill, but we always had to like, and we would walk, but we always had to like walk past this taqueria or like what is it called? I'm sorry, where they just make tortillas.
Oh, okay.
Not a taqueria. It's just
like a tortilla.
Tortilla.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I was like, what in my mind? And you can just smell that corn like outside. You didn't have to go inside. So like, I had found them, my tortilla people, and I was like, oh, yeah, let me get the yellow corn, and I did a trial run at my birthday party, December 2022. Yeah, I went to them and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a yellow corn tortilla, and I've tried their tortillas and it's really good, so I was sticking with that, and that's kind of how I released it. Yeah. And I also started with using gold leaf instead of the gold dust. That didn't work out because that thing, like, anytime you touch it, it sticks. So I'm glad I had that so I can like do the trial and error.
Yeah.
So I had went back to them and I was gonna order more, and then I showed them my cart and all that. They're like, "Oh, we do pink tortillas." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not. I'm older now. I could taste the red dye come up. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want to give that to my my clients." And they're like, or customers, and they're like, "No, like we don't use dye. We use a beet extract." And I was like, "I'm sold." So
yeah,
if I didn't show them, or like, I wouldn't have never known.
For me, I think that a breakfast taco, which I don't think you can get breakfast tacos just anywhere, right? I don't even think they exist in California, from my understanding.
No, they're not even called tacos out there.
They're called burritos. Yeah.
And same thing with them. They use a lot of store bought, in my opinion, and I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Store bought stuff.
Yes.
But even out here, they don't make good flour tortillas. I've noticed the San Antonio flour tortillas are really thick.
Yeah.
Down in the valley, like they use a lot of butter or lard, where you pick up the tortilla and you can see through it.
Really?
But it's not chewy. It's like, that's a good tortilla. Like the manteca, usually it's like a pork lard or vegetable lard or a butter. And girl, like the ones out here, thick, they're fluffy. It's not that they're bad.
They're different.
It's just different. Down in the valley, it's like, oh, it feels like if it's the butter ones, like on top of your breakfast taco, it's just like butter melting, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so well, that's what I'm used to though. Like a flour tortilla for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're having like carne guisada with for dinner, then you would have flour
Or
tortilla.
migas. I know people call them chilaquiles.
Oh, but migas is what I've grown up with.
They're migas.
Yeah.
Okay. In Cali, they're chilaquiles.
Chilaquiles, and so people will say that here, and I'm like, what is a chilaquile? Like that's migas. Amiga, that's a miga.
And then also with like even when it comes to migas, I'm like, yeah, I ain't doing it right. They put like a salsa, like a red salsa or a tomatillo salsa, like the migas that I know. Like you cut up. Sorry, I'm keep going back. You cut up the tortillas, right?
Yes.
I mean, usually like people like to be pretty and make the little triangles. No, we like tear them.
I'm like mine are squares,
Yeah,
little like
no,
tiny.
we don't even use it. We just tear them, throw them in the oil, make sure they're fried, not soft. Mm-hmm. And then you do the huevo, and then you do the jamon, and then you mix all that, and those are migas to me.
To you.
I understand, and I mean, I respect the chilaquile and the migas that other people know.
Yeah.
But that's not what I was raised on. I was raised on like a jamon being fried with the huevo on top of the migas with some salt, and then how I would eat them is just put like salsa on top, and that shit would slap.
No, my miga is just like the corn tortilla, the egg, and then cheese. I like cheese with mine. And like tomato, avocado on the side or something.
Yeah.
But
the cheese down there, I agree, same thing. But it's like again when anything, girl, like cheese down there is like
it's even different.
Queso fresco, or like fresh, or like the Oaxaca cheese. Like Oaxaca cheese, they don't have good Oaxaca cheese out here, and it's more expensive though.
Yeah.
But the Oaxaca cheese out there, it's just different. Like I have my heart shaped quesadilla. It comes with a Oaxaca cheese. But why I use Oaxaca cheese? Because it's not cheese is typically salty. Mm-hmm. And then I do the Oaxaca cheese. I do your choice of meat, then cilantro, cebolla, more cheese on top, and then I put the other heart shape on top. So like it's like a mini sandwich. So like I'll let it melt together. But why I use the Oaxaca cheese because it's not so salty. It doesn't take away the flavor profile from appreciating the marinated, the seasoned meat. Mm-hmm. It's just very soft cheese, so, and it doesn't taste very dairy-ish, but
it melts well though too.
It melts really well.
You're making me want a quesadilla now.
Sorry, I should have brought some.
Anyway. No, well, again, I just think like you're doing it right. It is surprising to me that it is and it isn't, I guess, that you did not go to culinary school, but like all of your coaching, all of your instruction is from your family. And I think that it kind of just makes it so much better because it's so authentic.
And I feel so bad because I rebelled so bad. Like
she's like, you're gonna learn to make this rice.
I mean, I didn't have a good childhood either, like with my parents. I mean, I'm pretty open about it. But when I moved out here for college, I didn't talk to my parents for 2 years. I used to use the word hate. Yeah. And I regret that. I'm in therapy now, guys, which I kind of want to bring up because I know why I started the business. I was in a I had baby girl, but I didn't have a connection with her, and I spoke about it on Norteño 210's podcast. I had her. I mean, I didn't take an epidural. Like again, I'm strong-minded. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this. If my grandma can have 8 on the bed and still work on the farm, I could do that. Like, I know we're made to have children, and I get it. Emergency, okay, cool, C-section, all that. But I'm like, no, I'm already here. Water broke, all of that. Like, I'm gonna do this without nothing. So
the strength
had her. It's like I just kept thinking about my abuela, like just ancestral, like that is so strong to me. And then had her, was in labor not that long. Water broke at 4 a.m. Had her at 11 a.m. Like didn't tear. She was 8.6 pounds.
Oh
like,
my god!
I didn't tear nothing. I was just like, when can I start working out? She's like, next week. And I'm like, what? Like I just had a baby. She's like, you didn't tear. Like like that. And that hearing that was like, like you're a woman. Like you can get up and go. Right. Like, of course, if there's no emergencies, but I looked at her. I mean, I tried to breastfeed her, and she didn't latch that well. I did breastfeed her for like 6 months. I did the bare minimum, but just didn't.
The connection never was there.
And I feel so guilty now because like I look at her and I'm just like, man, I try to say I love you so much to try to make up for that.
Yeah.
For it's not that I looked at her and said like I don't want you. It was just like I know I had you, but like I don't feel like you're mine.
Yeah.
And it's just something that I had to battle with. And sometimes like she would just cry and cry and cry, and I was just numb up and not give her attention. And I feel
Yeah.
bad because I'm like I felt like I wasn't meant to be a mom.
Yeah.
And you meet other moms or you see them and they're like they do the books and they do this like one-on-one time with their daughter, and I never did any of that. So again, like the mom guilt, I'm like I didn't do that, and I didn't think I was gonna be like that, but
Yeah.
it happened. And I was like I need to do something to get, I mean, I went to the doctor and I was like I want to do more holistic health. I don't want to be
Mhm.
on pills. I don't want to do on none of that. But I didn't really seek further into that.
Yeah.
My outlet was building Taco Couture. It just excited me.
Yeah.
It meeting different clients, different people, hearing the reviews. They're awesome. Like, like these are great. And like in the beginning, I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, okay, you're just being nice. But then now every time it's just like it's built confidence. It built me back up
Yeah.
where I could stand up and be like, no girl, 150.
Yeah.
Before
Yes.
it was just
Mhm.
like, I mean, sure, like I whatever. And
Yeah.
it's built me up and it's making me more clear minded now. Recently, I've kind of been like MIA on the page, and I've had like fellow vendors and even clients like that have booked us multiple times, just like, hey, are you okay? Like, we've noticed you don't have the page. And I'm like, damn, I didn't think nobody was gonna notice. But there was the past month and a half. I'm gonna start bringing this shit
Yeah.
up.
Well, tell me really quickly, how
Sorry.
old is your daughter?
My daughter's 2.
2. Okay,
She
so
turns
this is
3 in
all very
October.
recent then that you went
Yes.
through this.
Yes.
When you were pregnant, were you, well, I guess, like, how did you feel when you found out you were pregnant and through your pregnancy? Were you looking forward to it?
So with my husband, he's always wanted a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, I want to build us up. Let's have fun. Like, I don't want to get married and have kids. Like, I want
Yeah.
to, one, make sure this is going to be for real and last. And
Yeah.
two, like, I just want to travel and do the thing. And so we were together for 8 years. And then I think I saw the first gray hair in his beard, and I kind of got sad and I started crying. And I was just like, oh my God, we're getting old. And
Yeah.
I was 28 and I called my mom. I was like, Mom, how old were you when you started having kids? She's like, 28. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And we were living in Maryland at the time, and I just noticed that like our marriage wasn't getting any better, but it wasn't getting any worse. Like it plateaued.
Right.
And I was like, man, fuck it. Let's start this new chapter. And I
Yeah.
got off birth control and thinking I had
Like a while.
a coworker. No, I had a coworker, but I worked with a lot of like white people. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, yeah, like my girl, like she's been on birth control for 6 years. It took her 6 months to get pregnant. I'm like, oh, all right, let me get off mine. I was like, okay, me too. Girl, I got off of it in December. I got pregnant in January. Like, I was like, I forgot I was Mexican.
Fertile Myrtle, yeah.
Fertile A if. And I didn't tell my husband. I wanted to make sure everything was good. Waited 3 months. His birthday was April 30th, so I had to keep it a secret. I went to go, my
Yeah.
everything, and I told him on his birthday, and he was excited, and I was like, "All right, we're doing this." Like,
Yeah.
it was planned, but
Right.
he's always wanted one. It was just more on me.
Yeah.
So
So then, okay, so you had her, what month was that? This
I had her
was
in October
October 20,
21,
21. Okay.
and we moved back to San Antonio in July 2021.
Okay, so one thing that I think is crazy too is like when you're pregnant, when you're about to have a baby, they send you home with this new little baby person, right? Like that you're responsible for, like, and no matter how long you're in the hospital, a day, 2 days, you're not really prepared to take a whole human home. Do you know what I mean? Like, and so I think that that also probably lends itself to why you maybe felt nervous, scared, maybe.
Yeah.
What was it? I mean, when did you realize though, like that, okay, something is not, I guess, clicking here? Do you remember?
Mm, maybe it was my mentality because if I've never met my husband, I was the type of person where I didn't want kids.
Mm-hmm.
Not that like I would never. I don't know. I just was like too independent. I was too on the go. I was too trying to find a way to like make it out. Like even
Mm-hmm.
when I was in San Antonio, I worked at Alamo Draft House and SeaWorld, and I was going to full time school and playing on the basketball team. Like I never had time to sleep. Like I 4 hours of sleep, but I was young, so I was like, fuck it, I'll go to sleep 4 hours, wake up, and let's do this again. Like
Yeah.
I was always trying to find a way to like make it because
Mm-hmm.
I knew I didn't want to go back to the valley, and I knew like I just didn't want to struggle. Whatever I had to do, I had to do, and I don't know. I felt like I know having a kid would block those blessings.
Yeah.
Not blessings, but I envisioned myself to be in New York interior designer. And a lot of people in New York don't have a lot of kids.
Yeah.
They're very, on the go and 24/7. But I think it was because of the mentality I didn't want to let go of I want no kids.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm selfish. Like I enjoy doing things, experiencing things with me, with my husband, but I knew my husband wanted kids and I knew he's a big family person and I didn't have I mean maybe it could also go deeper to I didn't really have like a great family.
Yeah.
So and his family they love each other. They're Haitian, so they're Spanish, black and French and they favor
Mm-hmm.
their French side a lot. So experiencing the way his family interact with each other was just I guess in a way culture shock because my family was like calling CPS on each other, the police,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
drugs and cartel, like that
Yeah.
stuff. That was just how it was, and I maybe that's what it was. It's just like I don't know. Well, I don't know, but I had her, and she's
Yeah.
like the best thing ever. And she's like she's super smart. She's very independent. She says no, and you try to convince. She's like no. So I was like, oh my god, what did I
Yeah.
make? And I was like, they could have just given me a boy. Maybe this could have been a little easier, but they gave me a girl. But things happen. I have her. And, it recently with the mental like
Mm-hmm.
trying to go MIA. I deactivated the Instagram, and I really just wanted to give up. I just want because I'm like, is this even worth it? Like, I saw that I wasn't getting quality time with my family. I was, people like to throw events on weekends, and
Mm-hmm.
husband worked Monday through Friday, off weekends. Baby girl has daycare Monday through Friday, off weekends. So I was gone on weekends. And it's just like, man, I'm not even spending time with my husband. I'm not spending time with my family, with my daughter. My mom watches her, but she complains all the time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she charges me and I'm like it's just like my mom has taught me like she's a strong Latina mom
Yes.
like she's like I don't want to make this easy for you and I'm like there's other moms that or people that I meet Latinas and they're like
Yeah.
oh mija I'll take care of your baby and they like love enjoy being with their grandchildren. I'm not saying
Yeah.
my mom doesn't. It's just like what are you gonna give me and hurry up and I'm just like
Yeah. Yeah. No,
so
I get that.
it was just overwhelming and I just I didn't see what the other people see to
Mm-hmm.
this day. It's just like I don't know. I just wanted to give up. I was just like, where the fuck is this gonna take me? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I invested in counseling in May and started seeing her. It's just like I felt like the business is overwhelming. Like, yes, it's a blessing that we're getting constant bookings and
Mm-hmm.
DMs and reviews and all of that, but it's just like, can I keep up with this shit? Like, can I? Like, is it gonna break me down? I'm doing it because I want to give the experience. I also am doing it. I still haven't. I think this past month was the first time I paid myself,
Yeah.
and I was just trying to build that money up. And it's just like the hassle of going to U-Haul and returning it and cleaning the truck and clean. It was just so repetitive that it just got the behind the scenes that
Yeah.
people don't see and experience and whatnot and that I do.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love to feed people and I love to see their reactions and I love them being happy and dancing, all of that. And we get to see all that behind the cart. But it's before the event and after the event that kind of like broke me down in
Yeah.
a way, in a sense where it's like, why am I doing this? Like, yes, I want to give this experience, but like, why am I not working a corporate job? Why am I not bringing in more money? Why am I not? I was just hard on myself, and like people are like, you don't know what you have on your hands. Like, you're gonna make it. I mean, the Chick-fil-A one that you're talking about, when I was like 1 month into business,
Yeah.
I think I was in a pink suit, and I was like, I'm willing. It was a networking event, so I was like dressed up, and I was serving tacos, and she's like, can I take your picture? And there was some lady, and I was like, sure. She's like, I just know you're gonna be famous one day. I just want to be able to have a picture with you. And I was just
Yeah.
like things like that. It's just like, oh my god. And then I don't know. Those remarks, reviews, I don't remember when I want to give up. I just think of me like I'm getting worn out.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I say is this even worth it, it's not like my mind flashes back to people telling me like even like, oh my god, I've never had a taco like this. The last time I had a taco like this was blah blah blah. It reminds them of a memory of
Yeah.
somewhere that they went, and I don't think like that. So I was really hard on myself, and therapy has been good. Again, this is my full time though, so it's like I can't back out, and I feel bad because like I kind of did back out and laid back where I'm like, now I'm like, damn, I shouldn't have done that, because like I don't really have much bookings, but I was like, I needed the break, but now it's like, all right, like this is what brings in money.
Yeah.
So, or even although I wasn't paying myself, I had to, because I'm like, yo, we need money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I,
I'm like, it fluctuates every day. Um,
I think that you have so much on your plate, like not
I
for
think I'm
me
scared
too,
of failing.
um, but you haven't so far,
Yeah.
and I
I
think,
think I'm hard on myself because I feel like I'm failing, and I think it's like a me thing.
yeah,
And so I was like, let me, and that's when I was like, fuck it, let me go do this mental therapy,
yeah,
because I know I'm hard on myself. Like I am very grateful that news stations want to, you know,
mm-hmm,
um, review us, and for me, it's like I don't know why. It's not that I'm not proud of it, where I could sit back and see myself with my card and the news, whatever. It's just like I feel like I should be doing more,
yeah,
but I don't know. I think it's just like my past, like when I was saying, like I had this job, going to
yes.
school, doing that. I just feel like I should be doing more. I don't know.
I don't know that that's ever something that, like, I mean, maybe there are people out there that don't feel like they're constantly chasing something, but
Yeah,
I have to imagine that no matter what level of success that you reach, there's always what's next. Do you know what I mean? And it sounds to me like you literally are your biggest critic, but girl,
yeah.
you're doing so much. Like you got
Thank
to
you.
give yourself grace,
Yeah,
and being a mother on top of all of that is is a whole nother job,
yeah,
So like don't I mean, easier said than done, but
yeah,
don't be so hard on
yeah,
yourself. And what you're doing, like people don't have the guts to chase this kind of dream.
yeah,
There are people that have ideas that want to do things, but they don't know how to even take the first leap of faith. And you've already done so much work for it. Like the fact that, like you said, you pulled away a little bit just off social media and people can tell.
yeah,
You have so many people in your corner, like
yeah,
rooting for you.
yeah. And I appreciate it, because it does make me snap out of it and be like, damn, they noticed.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so like you said, like uh, when I started off, I was very hesitant starting off, because selling food, as street food, like it just, yes, it reminds me of home, but it gives me like memories of when we were struggling and we had to sell food. And
Yeah.
so I was just like, I don't want to be that woman. And I'm not gonna say Latina, because I know other cultures do it too, because
Yeah.
selling out of your trunk, or selling food just to make some money to feed your kids, to feed like my mom used to do that. She used to pawn like all the TVs when she had custody us on the weekends,
Yeah.
and then she'll take out the TVs when she got paid. But like
Yeah.
you got like younger, I just saw like you got to do what you got to do. But I was kind of like, man, I want to do this, but like I don't want to look like a broke Mexican. And I battled
No.
with that,
Yeah.
and that's why it took me a while to start this. I was like, you know what? Pink carpet, pink this, gold, rose petals. Let's amplify this.
Yeah.
Let's turn this around. So that's kind of
You,
another.
you know what's crazy though too is that like food literally is what unites everybody.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, you have to eat. And so like for you, it's crazy to me that to hear you say these things because from the
I know. I'm
outside,
sorry, guys, because I'm usually like very strong and I own my shit and I'm proud of my shit. But like recently, I've been going through like that behind the scenes. Like
yeah,
you never know what someone's going through. You never know like
you
their
don't.
history or whatever. Like I present myself very well, and I'm also like I don't like to lie a lot
But
because
you're human, like,
yeah,
you
like I don't
know,
want to be like yeah I made it. Like yeah I had a family. Like no, like I have
yeah,
a history and I'm trying to change that, especially for my daughter, like my mom was always like, you fall, you get back up, you cry, stop crying. And like, I find myself, it's also a battle too, like, cause she'll fall and I'm like, get up. And I'm like, hold on, like, let me not do that. Like,
yeah,
she never, I'm not saying my mom was never a mom. It's just like that motherly, like caring. It's just like she wanted me to move the way she moved. Like, you have
yeah,
depression? No, you don't. Like, she'll
yeah,
be like, there's women in Mexico that don't have food, money to feed their kids. And I'm like, well, if you put it that way, you're right. Like,
yeah.
and I'll snap out of it.
It's hard to think. So, you know what's funny? What I'm you're bringing something back in my memory is like I used to always tell myself I could be dead. And so I remember telling my friend, like, no matter what I'd be going through, I would always be like, well, you can't be sad because you're alive and you could be dead. And my friend would be like, that's not a good way to think about things. Like,
Yeah.
you're not allowing yourself to ever have other feelings than joy or happiness because you're like telling yourself you're not allowed to feel that, you
Yeah.
know? So, like, you can't compare, like, your struggles matter too, even
Yeah.
though
Yeah.
you're not the lady in Mexico who can't feed her kid.
Yeah.
Like, but and it's so hard to even try and break like those generational cycles, you know? You have to literally like stop,
Yeah.
think, and do something different.
And I feel like because, I mean, again, 2024, now it's becoming, therapy is becoming more of a thing where people are embarrassed or ashamed.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because, like, grandma didn't do it, my mom didn't do it, maybe because it's me that is trying to break I feel like it's hard and I'm fighting with myself because it's not like mom didn't do it, so it's like it has to start with me in order for my daughter and then her daughter, like,
Yeah.
so me having to carry all that weight on trying to shift all this mental and how it's supposed not it's supposed to be like what I was raised to be. It's just like that's also another heavy weight. It's just like fuck, like I gotta do this, but I don't because I'm battling myself and
Yeah.
this and that. Like, um,
I think you're don't like I mean, obviously I'm not a therapist, but like but it seems like you're doing this to help yourself like but you're also adding another layer of like a goal to
yeah,
it. And it's like and yes, there is an end goal, but just allow yourself to be in it.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like just allow yourself to go through it without feeling like I gotta fucking change the world
yeah,
because
yeah.
you're
Well, I think my business was in a way in the beginning from postpartum, but I guess it didn't work out for so long. It was my little personal therapist. It was my
yeah,
outlet.
yeah,
Um, it built me back up, all of that, until it hit its, I guess, breach. And then I was just like, why the fuck am I doing this? And
yeah,
that's when I seeked, therapy. And I've tried it before back in 2016. I lasted like not even a month because that therapist just kept wanting to bring up my childhood. I'm like, bro, I'm telling you, like, it was shitty. Like, I
yeah,
hid it. Like, why are we keep bringing it? How are we going to move forward? What can I do to move forgiveness, all of that, like,
yeah.
and so now, and I mentioned that to my therapist now, so she's kind of like scared to bring it
To
up.
ask,
Yeah,
yeah,
but like it'll come here and there. She just lets me open up about it, which I appreciate.
yeah,
I'm not very intimidating, but when I say scared, I remember I was taking a ceramics class in college, and when it comes to like art, the professor would go to each person. It's like, all right, tell me about your piece. Tell me about your piece. And when she came up to me, she's like, Z. Well, that's because they can't say my name. Like,
yeah,
Z. Um, I'm scared of you. So she said in front of the whole class, I'm not scared of you. You always do what you want to do. So, because like there's a theme to or a technique we're supposed to
yes,
work on. And I guess I didn't do the technique, but she's like, I'm scared of you, so whatever you did is fine. And I just gave me an A. But I was like, hold on, like I don't even talk to nobody. I just create. Like
Yeah.
you can't judge art. Art is creating. Like
You're
how
like, you
you
still gotta give me
so I
feedback,
know.
right?
It's like, do you like it or not? Like I tried my hardest. Like, don't be scared of me, man. But whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I passed.
Yeah.
She made me feel like a mob boss, but I literally just stayed in my corner, and that's how I am now. Like today, like,
Yeah.
hey Z, are you going to this event? And I'm like, it's not that I don't want to. It's just like I'm more of a private person. Like I stay in my lane. I stay at home. I create. Like
Yeah.
I don't really be out there to network. Like networking events.
Yeah.
Like it's not that I don't like them. It's just San Antonio. Like it's different. It's like the same people, and then you hear gossip and the drama, and I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Unless I'm like sponsoring something, of course I'll go. Or if it's something that they book us for, and
Yeah.
of course I'll go and interact and network. But when it comes down to me actually going,
Like just for yourself.
yeah, it's just like I don't know. Like I rather go out of state to do a networking thing and be like, yeah, I'm from Texas and I do this and that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Do you think that like maybe that would help you like feel less stressed just doing more things for yourself?
I did take the jump. I was last year, last month. I did do I did end up going to Miami with my cart. My husband and my brothers, they drove the cart down there. I flew with my mom and the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And I made back what I spent in travel fees
Uh-huh.
and cost of goods. I didn't profit off of it. But me doing that was just, and it was in Wynwood in Miami, and they were excited to have us. I know I was there. Next to us, it was someone grilling like street corn and like barbecue stuff, and they kept going to them. And they're like, oh, well, of course, we were the eye catching, and they were like, oh, what do y'all do? What are y'all selling? It's like street tacos. They're like, ah. And then we're like, yeah, we came from San Antonio. And they're like, San Antonio? And then they got in line because like to them, when they heard San Antonio, they heard like Mexican.
Culture. Yeah.
To them, authentic Mexican. But
Yeah.
I had to say San Antonio because if I said the Valley, they'd be like, where's that?
Where's the valley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it went really well. It's just I needed to see that so that I can see that there in Florida that they are also lacking authentic Mexican food
Yeah.
because it's a lot of like Boricuas and Cubans, like
Yeah, it's a
white rice,
different.
black beans, and plantain. I'm over here. Where's the salsa? Where's this? Where's
Yes.
that?
Uh-huh.
When we were in Maryland, I failed to mention. Like I've always been about the hustle. So in Maryland, I started selling tamales on base, and I'll make a. I was actually on my um
I love that.
photos and I was like in my memories, I'm like, man, I would make these Facebook posts, and I wanted to post it on Taco Couture. I think I have, but I don't do it a lot, where I'll be like, in 2014 I started selling, in 2016 I started.
Yes.
So I would sell tamales, and then someone, because military wives, people come from all over.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are from Cali, and they're like, oh, we want tamales, and they'll put their orders in, and then the word got around on base because I won't deliver off base unless they come meet me on base.
Yeah.
And I was working on base too, full-time DOD at the gym.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like, fuck it, let me try to make some money, extra money,
Yeah.
to BS around. And I was like, why did I do this? I was like getting like 25 dozens,
Oh my gosh.
30 dozens, and I'm over here like
Spreading. I'm like, your arm
like,
must have been hurting.
and my husband's not really like a tedious guy, so like it's like bless his heart, right? But like I'm just like, just leave me alone. I put my headphones on, watch my show, my documentaries, and I was just spreading. I was just like, fuck, what I get myself into? But they really enjoyed it. It was like, man, I've never had tamale like that. Like, damn, this reminds me of this. And again, like the reviews with
Mm-hmm.
just home and all of that. And I would sell like that. And then I would give them like these little salsas, and I wrap them up in the Ziploc bags, and they're like, not me, would say, it's like, these look like little Coke bags. And I'm like, that's how they serve them. Like, that's how you wrap up salsa, like,
Yeah.
But my feedback on my salsas are really good. So then I was like, fuck it, let me start a salsa serenita. So my name is Zerena.
Uh-huh.
My abuela would call me, ay, mi serenita. So my business, I have two businesses, and I know I don't really talk about it a lot, but I also own a luxury pop-up picnics and balloon decor. But starting that when I moved here, everyone does that.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
need to think of something that was unique and more high in demand. So I do both, and occasionally I'll get repeat clients for balloon decor or other stuff. And it's not that I don't do it, but it's very rare that people seek for my services on my other page.
Yeah. I
Or
had no idea.
yeah,
Look at
it's
you.
I'm always about like what can we do? So I started Salsa Serenita, and oh well, my LLC is under Serenita's LLC, and then the Taco Couture and Serenita's Picnics is under their DBAs.
Okay.
But
Okay.
in Maryland, I had Salsa Serenita. I go to the farmers market. By the way, farmers markets in the East Coast very different than here. It's like it's like a thing out there.
Yeah, people really love them over there. Yeah.
Like they love supporting small. They love the organic. Like they really
Yes.
go. They rather go there than the grocery store on the weekends.
Oh, I wish that.
It's very
Yeah.
different here it's like I'll go support. Over there it's like no, like you get a different type of curated event, whatever. So selling my salsas out there, and I was selling like $8 for 8 ounces, and I was selling. I was like, y'all are paying $1 an ounce. I was like, I could not get away with this. Like
Yeah.
in Texas, it sounds even in the valley, like I could not get away with this.
Yeah.
They were selling me out, and and they're like, man, this is really good. I remember one time she reached out to me on Facebook. Some lady, she's like, hey, we live in Virginia. Like we went to this farmers market. Like we had your salsa, but like, can you ship us your salsa? I'm like, I don't even know how to like if it'll last. And I told her, I was like, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's in Virginia, so I'd assume you'll get it tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's Maryland and Virginia, so I was like, fuck it, I'll ship it.
Yeah.
Ship their salsas. And I was just like, man, like that had, you know, people really loved it.
They love. Have you ever thought of getting your item, like maybe the salsa, into HEB
yeah. I've had some conversations with some people that work for HEB, know about HEB, told me about the program that they do where they highlight like Texas or programs. I haven't really, again, like I feel like I would love to, but I feel like it's an overwhelming process. So like I don't even start.
You don't know where to start.
Yeah, I'm like like recently I just applied for Siete. I don't know if you've seen that going around, the Siete fund. Siete is a brand. I
The
think
foods, like the
the brand. They're giving out $300,000 grant money for Latino
I hope you
food.
get it.
Yeah, I applied and I was like, this is a lot. This is overwhelming. I was like, you know what? Let me do it.
Yeah.
And it's either 10, 25, or 75K. And I'm like, this could really help me with my delivery business. A delivery, like investing into a delivery vehicle.
Yes.
Instead of the U-Haul that we have to rent. And I'm over there on my Instagram, like nominated, because you can apply, which I did, and then you can also have people nominate you.
Oh, I'll go do that right after this. I'm gonna nominate you.
People, I'm like, nominate us, put our email, and then they'll DM me like, we did it, and I was like, thank you. And I got an email back from Siete saying, hey, you've been nominated. But it was like more of like don't reply to this email.
Yes.
But I'm like, keep doing it. Don't let Taco, because they're in Austin. I was like, make sure they don't forget Taco Couture off their palette.
Yeah.
And so that's what I kind of do. I like to tell people, I was like, I don't want y'all to ever forget about me, so I need to touch y'all's palette. So
yeah.
I mean, we'll get DMs like, we never had tacos like that. When are you getting a storefront? And I'm like, man, like I would love to have a brick and mortar, but I've had doing events, like I'll meet restaurant owners or restaurateurs, and
yeah,
they're like, man, this is so smart. It's like you're a mobile commercial kitchen. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think of it like that. Like whatever you do, don't get a restaurant, because you're gonna be nothing but putting out fires. Like ceiling,
the overhead cost is just insane.
And I'm like, man, like I would love to have my own little spot, because I have like a vision on what I want to provide.
Oh my god, it'd be the cutest spot.
I already have like boom, 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 but it's just like they've been in business for so long, and like fire happens, you gotta take care of that. Like a hole in the wall, you gotta take care of that. Like I think I would lose my passion in creating and for the food.
Yes.
That I'd have to give all that up just so that I can make sure
like you run the business and not be so hands on. Yeah.
Unless there's an investor out there that's willing to do all that.
Let's come on, guys.
Let me know. But I of course I would
with the CIA.
yeah, let me know. But yeah.
No. Well, so I hope that you get this Siete, what is it? A grant, you said, right?
Yes.
I hope that you get that. I'm gonna go and vote, nominate you.
Thank you.
And I'll put it on my page and everything like that. So, you got to keep me posted on that for sure.
Yeah,
then, and next step, girl, like if you're looking to, because you come from such a background where you're like, I got to do this and this and this, like let's get your stuff into HEB. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I would appreciate it. Like, I'm the type of person that's like, I don't want nobody's help. I want to do it. But then honestly, I've realized, not noticed, like, I need help. And I
Yeah.
don't know how to ask for help because I have too much pride, but I would
Yeah.
appreciate the help.
Yeah.
Anything like my salsas to this, to that, like my carts. And I'm actually, and I know I've been kind of talking about it, I don't really put it in my Instagram, but I'm working on a different colorway for my carrito, for a carrito. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be known as a taco designer. I don't really want to be known as the pink
The
taco
pink
lady
taco lady. Yeah,
or
yeah.
the pink taco girl. Like, I want to be known as a taco designer. So my next cart is going to be black. It's going to be black and gold. White
So
taco
cool.
couture sign in the front, the neon one with the black velvet, black carpet, black velvet stanchions, and my black TC paper,
Mm-hmm.
and the tortilla. That's gonna be tortilla de azul, so
Yeah.
blue corn.
Blue corn,
But
which
when
will come out darker, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
when you flash fry it, it'll come out darker. And this is more. I'm not saying I'm making it for the males, for the guys, for their bachelors or whatever. I've
But
noticed
still.
whoever reaches out for me is women networking events, which I love and I support, and it's so empowering. Baby showers, bridal
Yeah.
showers, like
You're
I
limiting yourself right now. Yeah.
I love the whole woman, Latina. Like, I'm proud of that. But I also want to give the same experience to anybody and everybody.
Right.
So I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your sex is. I don't care what your beliefs is. My job is to feed you good food and
Mm-hmm.
make you, even if you take a bite and be like, I've never had anything like this, or you take a bite and be like, man, this reminds me of blah 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 when I was younger. Like, I don't care what you are. I don't even care if you bring your dog to have our tacos. Like, as long as you're happy, that makes me happy.
Yeah.
So releasing a black cart, I feel like will bring in more of the masculine side, and I also feel like it will bring in more corporate events, more luxury events, nighttime
Yes.
events, more
Well, and maybe that's where you'll open your avenue a little bit more to weekly, like
correct, yeah.
weekday events. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't really I get some here and there, but they're not really like
Yeah.
luncheons, which I would
Right.
like to do. But like, yeah, just I understand pink is so vibrant and it's not an eyesore, but it's too poppin'. Like, I know certain events that are being
Yeah.
thrown and held, like they're not looking for anything to like take away from the event. So
Yeah.
if it could be a sexy taco cart or sexy food, if you must say, or
Most importantly, it's yours and it's your food, which is so good. And I think that you're doing yourself a huge service to just like open it up to
yeah,
more people, right?
yep,
Anybody, dogs
anybody,
included, like you
dogs
said.
included, bring them.
Well, I'm gonna have us do just like a couple of these cards, okay?
Sure.
We're gonna just lighten the mood just a snippet.
Yeah, line it.
I'm gonna pick 3, and then you can pick 3.
Okay. Hot takes. Girl, I was
Hot
looking at that
takes.
box like, you got hot tamales and you haven't even offered me any. It was like
Hot
those
takes. I know. I want some hot
hot
tamales too.
tamales.
Hot tamales. I want to try your tamales too because
Oh yeah, it's
I
all
did
year
go
round.
back. Yeah,
It's all year round, but I mean, again, people from San Antonio think it's only a
it's a holiday.
holiday
Like
thing.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, no, I didn't know holiday thing.
No,
Like
tamales to me are like Sunday morning breakfast. They go with the barbacoa. Like
Yep,
Yeah, that's how we
exactly
like to
what
have
it
them.
is.
Okay, these are all right. These are all right. Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
We'll do the. Let me see. Okay. Monogamy is unnatural. So being in a monogamous relationship.
You want me to tell you?
Is it or is it not?
Is it for 2024 people? Like, are we trying to get views or not? Like, I'm not trying to get canceled.
I know. I mean,
I want to be like, I don't care. It's not my relationship.
I was gonna say, well, for me, like, no, it's not. I love being in a monogamous relationship. In 2024, I hear the stories. I hear that people are just so hard to like. You can't meet somebody and like nail them down anymore. It's like everybody just wants to date everybody.
Well, that's not us.
you. Yeah.
I'm
No.
traditional AF.
Same.
And I'm like, but it also is like, how did we get here? Because I remember like
I blame social media.
Yeah.
That's what I blame.
I don't even know.
Or like how did the world come to this? Yeah, I blame social media. Everybody's just so accessible, like to everybody.
That's true.
And everybody just puts themselves out there, so like there's constantly
They're not
a
really,
new person, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I consider myself like with the times, but I also am very conservative. I'm very like I know I got curves, but it's not like I'll wear a skirt, like a super short skirt. I'll wear like
Yeah.
a tight long skirt.
Yeah.
But
I know, I do love your style, I have to say.
oh, thank
I've
you.
seen a lot of like
My
your
stuff, yeah.
yeah, and I'm like
I get that a
I
lot.
love it so much because I'm like, she can cook and she knows
She can
how to
dress.
dress.
Well, that's
Like
the couture part, right? So like,
yes.
I mean,
Hmm.
that also ties in with like me and my husband, man. Yeah, okay, Monday through Friday, we might look a certain way, but we know how to dress up to go out to have a good time. Like
Yeah.
it's just you look good, you feel good, and then you eat good food. It's just like it's a whole
It's a
thing.
whole vibe.
And
That's
where
like
the
the vibe
carpet
I'm
is.
looking
Yeah,
for.
like the carpet's like I don't care who or what you're wearing to walk down the carpet, but I think it all ties it in. I think the first time I actually saw my business, my vision come to life was
Mhm.
at the Whitty Museum. I think it was the same month I launched my business, and I saw gowns and tuxes
Mhm.
walk down, and I'm like, and I stepped back, took a video, and I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Like, it's what I like,
Yeah, that's what you wanted. Yeah.
yeah, because like usually when people are in before the big event, like when it comes to a wedding, they're like, let me lose weight so I can fit into this dress, and then you fit into it, and then now you're at the event, and I'm like, now what? You gonna eat? Because you fit into it, might as well eat.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Mhm.
so
That's funny.
I'm here.
I love it. No,
uh
even yeah,
oh,
I get it.
it I'm sorry, it'd be better to be deaf than blind.
Oh,
Yeah, I would take
I
deaf.
would take deaf.
Yeah,
I like to see like the world,
yeah,
you
I'm a
know?
people watcher.
Yeah. And honestly, if I heard less people, it might be good.
Yeah, I'd rather
I'm
be
just
deaf.
kidding. That's not, I mean, but yes, I would prefer to see the world. And
Yeah,
I could people watch and I don't need to hear you. I can read
just
everything.
yeah, that's my
Like,
mind.
okay. This one's kind of dumb, but we'll do it. The best pickle shape is the spear. Do you like pickles?
Yeah, but no, not the spear.
I like a whole pickle,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because you make a hole and you put the
Put the Chinese,
nachos.
I put the
Yeah,
Chinese
the
candy in the
Chinese
middle.
candy. Yeah,
Yeah, and then there's like the crunch, and then
yeah,
it's a juicy. Yeah,
yep.
yep.
You squeeze it on your chips or you squeeze it on your popcorn.
Your popcorn,
Yeah,
exactly.
I
I like
agree.
a whole pickle.
Um, diet soda is worse for you than regular soda. I don't know. I've heard of
I've
that.
heard it is.
Yeah,
I've heard like if you're gonna have a soda, just
have
do
a
the
soda.
regular one. Yeah,
Yeah,
because the aspartame and like
yeah,
all the
yeah.
artificial sweeteners are really bad. But just recently I started liking Diet Dr. Pepper, but I don't really drink soda that often
Yeah, I don't drink soda at
at
all.
all.
That's why I was like, I'm a sparkling water girl.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, we
It's
have,
okay.
yeah.
I won't. I won't post about it.
You won't hold.
Just
You won't
kidding.
hold it against me.
No,
She's
no,
like, you gave me flat water. Gross.
no. With lemon.
Basic. She's like, I said couture,
I
bitch.
said. I said lemon sparkling water, not no fucking
I was
slices of
like,
lemon. Oh, what the fuck is it? And then you put it in some nice glasses too,
yeah, I
like
was like, let's
to
have
make
just
up
like.
for it. I guess.
I know. I was like, I didn't know. I was like, do I buy Topo? But the last time I had Topo Chico on here on the podcast, I was like burping, and I was like,
Mm,
that's gross.
that's very
So I didn't
true.
want Topo, and then I didn't know like Lacroix people. I like the limoncello, but some people
Yeah.
don't like it. So I was like, I didn't know which kind to get.
It's
So
okay, girl. It's
sorry.
okay. Next time.
Next time.
Movies are better than books.
Yeah, I'm not a reader.
Yeah, me neither. And I've heard like if you read books, like you're smart, and like I feel like the older folk,
Yeah.
like younger 30s, is like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm gonna read a book at the cafe. I'm like, the fuck is this a Netflix movie? Like, like why are you trying to be so like
No.
Netflixy? Like
Yeah,
you
you're
look
like,
like a
ew.
vibe, and I'm like, okay.
You're like, stop, please. No, I'll like buy books.
I should
They're
start
just
reading.
pretty. I don't read them, but they look pretty.
I should read it. It's like watch my or read my book, and I'm like, girl, it is 2024. I could chat GPT that. I could ask like, sum up this book, and they'll tell
It'll
me,
tell you exactly.
or audio, or girl. When I was in elementary, when you can rent out the books and rent out the audio to go
yes.
with the book, that was me. Because I am not trying to. I'd be like,
No.
read something. If it's really good, I can read super fast. My mom's a reader. My brother's a reader. They can read it like spend Barnes and Nobles all day, and I'm like, and if it's a movie off of a book, like I'm a movie girl.
I do too. I'm
I
like,
like
I'd rather watch the
movies.
movie. I
Although I'll
don't need to
fall
know.
asleep, but it'll tell me like, is your book really worth reading if
Reading.
I fell asleep? No.
No, and sometimes I'll read the book and then I'm like, well, this was what would get me in trouble in like school. I would read all of like the chapters or the paragraphs, whatever, get to the end and I didn't know what I was reading because I wasn't comprehending it.
Yeah, you're like,
So
I'm
then,
reading it just to say I finished.
yeah, and then I'd be like, okay, let me start over, and then I'd fall asleep. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. Okay.
Reading's gay. I'm just kidding.
Hey, it's 2024. Gay is good.
I know.
Okay, so my last one: long distance relationships can work. Can they? Not for me, I don't think.
I think back in the day. Um, I think now like there's just too much. You could say like, yeah, you're the one, and you don't know you got a little something on the side. And
Yes.
I want to say back, I was in a long distance relationship actually. That's honestly one of the reasons why I moved to San Antonio, because I was in a long distance relationship with someone from San Antonio. I moved out here. It was like the worst thing ever. Like it was just the worst. It was the 3-year relationship, but it was just like very bad.
Yeah.
I was like, I wish I just never moved here.
But you met your husband here, right? No?
Met him here.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Met him here.
Well,
yes.
then there you go.
That's true.
He led you to your husband.
That's true. That's true. But yeah. I don't know. I don't think nowadays.
I don't think
I think
so.
it's more of like a Europe thing. Like if I was sorry, babe. If I was talking to like a Europe dude, it'd be like more romantic. Maybe
yeah.
it's not. They're probably just as bad out there because Europeans are all about like free. And
I don't think they like monogamy.
they're just like into everybody. And that's like the
Yeah.
thing. That's true, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Probably not unless you're in prison.
Then it'll work. Yeah,
it'll work. Because like
you probably still have a side boob
in there, or even through the letter chain.
Yeah.
But whatever.
No, I do think like social media ruins a lot when it comes to like relationships, but it does a lot of good for businesses and for people who are trying to make names for themselves.
I agree. Instagram is my main marketing thing, and I've gotten compliments like, "Hey, who does your media or who does your page?" And I'm like, "I do," and I cry every time because like I'm such a perfectionist. I'm like, "This is all right. Play with this, the saturation. All right, take this photo. What is the content you want to make?" And I'm just so like, I'm very controlling. So it's even if I were to try to hire somebody and they do it and they do a really good job, we're like, no, you didn't get it right, because they also don't. It's not their business. Where I want to highlight my family, or I want to highlight this recipe, or I want to highlight this, and they don't understand it because it's not theirs. And no shade to marketing businesses out there that get hired, but I think I'm too in control. I think this is still my baby where I don't want to let go of the reins.
Yeah.
And I know I've heard is like, well, you're never gonna get anywhere if you don't let go. But I'm like, I'm not ready yet. Just give me some time. I will be.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think they'll be able to capture my brand the way I want it to. But then you make this pretty photo, whatever, and then you put it on Instagram, and then you're like, fuck, now I gotta write something. I'm like, what do I write? So I stay there for like an hour trying to find what to write. Because you don't want to come off like, book me now, please. And then you also want to give like what the picture is, and then you also want to, it's a lot, and then you post. So
and then you got to think of the next one, right?
Yeah, and it takes forever. I don't know. It's like, damn. Like I get why people hire people to do that, but I'm like, nah,
not yet. I mean, I hope though that you hear yourself in talking about the amount of work that you're putting into this, and like, if nothing at all, you leave today with just feeling like you can give yourself grace. You're doing a lot, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sometimes. I mean, it's like I'll sit back and I'm like, damn.
It's
like
a push and pull with you.
Yeah. And then I think right now, recently, I'm just like, fuck. Why'd I do this?
Yeah.
Was I supposed to do this? Was this what you meant, Grandma?
I think so. I'm telling you, the rice lessons, like, you know? And so, like, I have to imagine, just from like what I've seen you post of your family and stuff, they seem so proud of you. And I love that when you were asking your grandma, like, what does she think about it? And she was like, well, you're doing it well, and you're doing it like thinking of people's health at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, like if I know we talked about your childhood, like we barely even grazed the surface, but it sounds like they are very proud of where you, like who you are today.
Yeah.
And so I think that you should just be nicer to
Nice
yourself,
to
Zerena.
myself.
Yes.
I'm my worst critic. But it'll get better,
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seeking help. I'm the professional route, so sorry.
No,
I
you're
think
good.
it has helped too. So
Yeah.
sometimes I sit down on the couch and I just start spewing, and the counselor's like, "Hold on, like you're saying," and I'm like, "Just let me talk." So I'll just sit there and I just spew a bunch of shit out, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" Like I just start to realize stuff that I never realized just by me sitting down and going here, there, da 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 da,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Oh my god." All right. And then I'm not saying she's not doing her job, but she basically is like, well, she professionally talks to
Yes.
me
Uh-huh.
with the chat GPT words, but I'm like sitting there and I just spew and I'm like, oh, okay. All
You're like, my
right.
work here is done.
Yeah.
You're giving
I
yourself.
would like my check. But no, it's good. If anybody is thinking, why am I doing this? Just either seek help or I don't know. Don't spew out to me, but spew out to somebody, and then you'll realize why you're doing it.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you start everything.
Yeah.
Um, if it's God's plan, your plan, if it's the hustle, if you're doing it just to make money, it's not gonna work. You have to do something that you have a passion for, something that you're connected to, something that you can story tell about. Because that's what I've noticed that people really love the videos of my family. I'm like, well, why?
Yeah, because we learn more about who you are,
Exactly.
why you're doing what you're doing, and I think that it all goes back to like,
It's the brand.
yeah,
It's
people
the
want to
brand.
support you because they like Serena and they like
Yeah.
what you're about and they
Yeah.
like to know about you, and like it's part you nailed, what is it? You hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
It's part of your
I've gotten
brand.
compliments like you're the marketing queen, because like when I go to networking events or whatever, I'll bring salsa business bottles. So they're like the mini liquor bottles, but I
Mhm.
put my salsa in there. I put my salsa label on the back. It's my name, my email, my phone number. I think there's something else back there, but they're like my business bottles because I mean, let's be real. Like when you get business cards, you throw them away. So I know you're not gonna throw away some good salsa.
No.
And also I do have business cards, and my business cards, when you touch it, it has like a velvet feel on the
Yeah.
front.
Uh-huh.
So it feels expensive. I know people are like, I invest in business cards. Like I invested, like I want the whole couture
Yeah.
feeling. Like we had an event in Austin this past weekend. They're like, man, I love a good business card. Like, and he was just touching it, and I was like, yeah, well, there's a experience for anything that we do.
I
I
love
guess.
it so
So
much.
yeah.
That design background has come in handy for
Yes,
sure.
yes, yes, yes.
Well, definitely keep me posted on where everything is with
Yeah,
you.
I will.
And then let the listeners and viewers, where can they find you? Let everybody know.
So on Instagram, oh, sorry, I'm
No,
on
you're good.
Instagram, which is I'm really doing all my work, always on. And then Facebook, and I'm on TikTok, but I don't really TikTok. Like it's really hard.
TikToking is hard.
It is hard. Like I'm just trying to get the Instagram algorithm down, and now I gotta learn the TikTok. But I know they're like that's where you'll get discovered.
Yeah.
So I would like to learn more on TikTok, but we do have a couple videos on TikTok. That's about it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't have a website. That's another like overwhelming thing subject. I do have an inquiry form that you can find in my link in my bio to submit your request for your events. But other than that,
I didn't hear you say so Instagram, but what's the handle again?
oh, I'm sorry, taco.couture.
Taco.couture.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, if you start tackling TikTok, like give us some of
Yeah.
your, I think what works on TikTok would be like some of your daily meals. Just like what are you cooking for the day? Stuff like that. It's like turn and burn stuff. It's got to be just because people are just like scrolling.
Yeah, I've heard that you have to post like 3-4 times a day.
Yeah.
In order for your stuff to get. Oh my god, 3-4 times
It's a lot of work. I know. I know.
It's a lot can be overwhelming, but
Well, social media, man. But well, I really did have the couture experience with you today, with your couture water and everything.
I know, my stale lemon slices. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. They were nice and crisp.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay. All right, Zerena. Well, thank you so much. I'm sorry I butchered your name in the beginning,
Yeah,
but
you're fine.
I learned, okay?
It's
Thank
for
you
the
so
culture.
much for the culture.
The full experience.
Thank you so much for coming. It was really a pleasure having you on, and I just can't wait to see where everything else takes you,
Oh,
especially
thank you.
this new black cart that's coming up.
Yes,
So
I'm excited for it. My carito negrito, but I think that's
love it.
very. I don't want to be like culture inappropriate. Oh, my husband's Haitian, so
I think you're fine.
okay. And I have an Afro Latina daughter, so it's like I'm not trying to anything.
Carito negrito. It's
Carito
Spanish.
negrito.
I love it. You're
But I
good.
need to think more of like a couture. Like I
Couture,
also was
yeah.
thinking like the couture homme, like HOMME, like the fragrance.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
My cousin's my branding guy. Well, I gave him the name, he created the brand, but he's the one that kind of makes everything look pretty. So
Yeah.
family.
Oh, I love
Gotta
that
count
so
on
much.
family.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, if for some reason I become super good at thinking of something, I'll let you know.
Yes, let me know.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. If you've made it this far, we love you for that. Make sure that you subscribe, rate, like, review, and then obviously come back next week and do it all again. Thank you so much for listening. See you next week. Bye.